Okay, let's just dive right into today's explainer. I want to start by introducing you to a guy named Amit. So Amit is 26 years old. He works in an IT office in Gargan, and he pulls in a really comfortable salary. Honestly, from the outside looking in, his life seems completely set. His parents are super proud, his friends are definitely a bit jealous, but right now it's 9 p.m. He's still sitting at the office, staring blankly at an Excel sheet and just feeling this overwhelming, numb emptiness. He's secretly watching a travel vlogger on his phone, and he's just wondering, is this it? Is this literally how the rest of my life is going to play out?
To really understand where Amit is coming from, we have to look at this profound quote from the poet Posh. The most dangerous thing is the death of our dreams. And the thing is, Amit is absolutely not alone in feeling this way. We see it literally every single day. It's the millions of people sitting on the metro just mindlessly playing Candy Crush on their morning commutes. It's that endless cycle of leaving for work, coming home totally exhausted, waiting for the weekend, and doing the whole shebang all over again with that exact same numbness.
Section 1. The Middle Class Trap. A systemic reality. See, what Amit is experiencing right now isn't just a personal crisis. It is actually built right into the system. And to understand just how wide this trap really is, we need to look at the hard data.
Just 21%. Let that sink in for a second. According to a massive 2024 Gallup workplace survey that spanned over 160 countries, in India and South Asia, only 21% of people are genuinely engaged at work. That means 8 out of 10 people are waking up every single morning to go to a place where their heart simply isn't in it.
And when you zoom out, globally, the picture is just as stark. 77% of workers out there are either quiet quitting or actively disengaged. Now, you might be thinking, well, okay, finding fulfillment is just a luxury, but it's really not. The data actually shows that the 23% who are genuinely engaged are 18% more productive, and their companies are 23% more profitable. So ignoring fulfillment, it isn't a luxury. It's costing us massive amounts of productivity, profitability, and honestly, human happiness across the board.
Which brings us to Section 2. The problem with passion. Looking inward fails. When someone like Amit feels this emptiness, they usually turn to the internet, right? And what do they find? Generic advice like just follow your passion or look inside your heart. But the problem with passion is that when Amit looks inward, he finds, well, nothing, which just leaves him feeling even more confused and kind of broken.
There is a 2018 Stanford University study that beautifully explains why this whole looking inward thing totally fails. Amit is stuck in a fixed mindset. He believes passion is like a hidden treasure just waiting to be magically discovered. But as researcher Cal Newport argues, passion is actually a plant you grow. It's a growth mindset. You don't just dig around in the dirt hoping to strike gold. You plant a seed and you nurture it by diving deep, developing a skill, and gaining autonomy over time. Passion isn't found, it's the reward for getting genuinely good at something.
Section 3. The Science of Flow. Complete Immersion. Okay, to show you how this cultivation actually works in the real world, let me introduce you to our second protagonist. Meet Neha. She's a 34-year-old housewife and a mother of 2 who got married right out of high school. Her journey started super simply. She baked this beautiful birthday cake for her son. A neighbor saw it, posted it in a WhatsApp group, and boom, suddenly she had 3 orders. But here's the reality check. One of those cakes turned out terrible. The customer complained, and her husband outright told her to shut down her little time pass. But Neha made the uncomfortable choice. She pushed right through the discomfort, and she baked again. And as she kept baking, she started experiencing what psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi defined back in 1990 as flow state. Basically, this is complete immersion in a perfectly challenging task where time just completely fades away. You forget to check your phone, you're fiercely focused but somehow completely relaxed at the same time. By chasing that flow state and pushing through the really hard times, Neha built a highly successful cloud kitchen on Zomato and Swiggy in just 14 months, starting right from her own home oven.
Section 4. The Exposure and EMI Trap. Systemic Villains. So the big question is, if Neha can do it, why can't the other 80% of people escape the numbness? What's actually holding them back? Well, it's time to introduce the systemic villains of our story.
Think about it. The average student in India really only knows about 10 to 15 safe careers: engineer, doctor, CA, MBA. But globally, there are over 12,000 recognized career categories. If you don't know what you're passionate about, it is absolutely not your fault. The system has literally starved you of exposure. You're put on a predefined conveyor belt through school and college, completely insulated from the vast reality of the real job market. I mean, you can't dream of being a marine biologist or an ornithologist if you've literally never even heard of them.
In his amazing book Range, David Epstein proves that the system forces us to choose way too early. He studied world-class performers, people like Roger Federer and MS Dhoni. And guess what? Neither of them started off specializing in their main sport. They were what he calls samplers. They played everything from basketball to football as kids. It's basically the classic fable. Early specializers might sprint ahead and win in the short term like the hare. But late specializers, the ones who sample many things before committing, they win the marathon like the turtle, simply because they actually know what fits their abilities.
Now let's trace this whole thing back to Amit. Because he couldn't sample, he was pushed straight into a golden cage. At 16, intense coaching pressure to be an engineer. By 22, he's saddled with a 10 lakh student loan. By 26, peer pressure and hustle culture push him into these massive home and car EMIs. And then comes the 3 a.m. panic attack. He literally ended up in the hospital with chest pains, realizing he was completely trapped. He couldn't quit his toxic job because his entire salary was instantly devoured by his EMIs every single month.
Section 5. The 3E Action Plan. Escape the trap. Okay, this is exactly where we pivot. How do you actually escape this trap without completely ruining your finances? Well, we are going to look at a highly motivational, science-backed solution.
Introducing the 3E Action Plan. Explore, engage, and excel. Step 1. Explore is all about expanding your options. You need to look outside, not inside. For the next 30 days, take just 30 minutes a day to research totally new careers out of those 12,000 global options. You have to expand your world first.
Next, let's move to step 2, engage. Once you find a few things you actually think you might like, you have to get your hands dirty. Author Josh Kaufman has this brilliant rule. It only takes 20 hours to test if a skill is right for you. That is literally just 45 minutes a day for a single month. And Amit did exactly this. After his panic attack, he remembered how much he used to love wood carving with his grandfather. So he committed a tiny fraction of his day, just 45 minutes, completely away from his phone, just carving wood. And that brings us to step 3, excel. This is where you build what psychologist Angela Duckworth calls grit, which is passion combined with perseverance. Because, look, after the initial excitement wears off, there is this 6-month grind phase where things get genuinely hard. This is exactly where most people quit. But surviving this phase, actually pushing through that friction, that is where true, lasting passion is forged. Amit survived that grind, staying up late, carving wood into the night. Section 6. Building your ikigai, a purpose for life. And that leads us to the ultimate goal of the 3E formula. It's all about reaching what the Japanese in Okinawa call ikigai. Fun fact, in Okinawa, they don't even have a word for retirement. Why? Because they have their ikigai, the exact reason they wake up excited every single morning. So ikigai sits right at the intersection of 4 vital things: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what pays you. But remember what we talked about earlier? Ikigai is built. It's not magically found. Amit built his. After months and months of carving, he finally sold a piece on Instagram to an NRI for $47. That small side income? That became his escape plan. When a panic attack loomed, he went straight to his workbench. He finally had something in his life that was truly his own. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking right now. I'm way too old for this, or I don't have the money to start over. But check out this data point. The global average age for a career change is actually 39. Neha started baking at 34. And as for money, basic acrylic paints for shoe painting cost what, 300 rupees? Wood carving, writing a blog, these things cost next to absolutely nothing. So no, you are not too old, and you're for sure not too broke to start. Furthermore, you don't even need to quit your day job right now. A really fascinating study out of San Francisco University shows that starting a side passion project actually makes you perform better at your primary 9-to-5 job. It boosts your creativity and significantly reduces your overall burnout. It's not some zero-sum either-or situation. Amit kept his IT job, but his entire life completely transformed simply because he finally had an outlet. Which brings us to the final and really the most important question of this entire explainer. If you've been feeling that restless energy, that numbness deep down, don't suppress it. That energy is incredibly valuable. It means you are finally ready to innovate rather than just survive. So the choice is totally yours. Are you going to hit snooze, go back to the exact same routine and let your dreams die? Or are you going to carve out just 45 minutes today to start exploring, start engaging, and start building your ikigai? Think about it. Thanks for learning with me today.